Hey guys, so today in this video I'm going to be talking about the generational problem. So the generational problem is when you have a bunch of different age groups and like generations of people, because they're all born like not at the same time, right? Then they all have varying differences in their investments in different things. And so they're all competing for different things because their values, their mental universes are different. When your mental universe is different, you care about different things. And so all these people are caring about different things. And so they're working towards different things. And so they're competing against each other. And this means there's little cohesion and there's not really a direction for humanity. Now, of course, there is a general direction for humanity, which is more, 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 more. As for why, it probably has to do with the fact that most people want more investment in their stuff, and it's a way of not having to compete with each other as much. They still compete with each other, people, but it's a little different. We basically sacrifice nature, we sacrifice the future for the present, for society. And so the present society is getting all this investment from nature. Nature is getting destroyed, and the future is getting destroyed, and yeah, and so like you basically get this problem where all you have to do is get people to communicate, right? And if people could communicate, then you'd have cohesion. The mental universes would start to kind of work like a puzzle. People would their their mental universes, their values, their interests, their thoughts, their beliefs, their data is going to start coming together like a puzzle. And of course, people won't just naturally all care about the same thing because they still have their investments, they still have their identity. And when you lose your identity, it kind of feels like you just like died. Now, of course, if you build up like adaptability slash resilience, you can learn to change your identity more easily, as long as you get used to changing it a bunch, which is pretty helpful. And if you can do that, then it's easier to just be like, you know what, I was wrong, and then just change yourself. Um, and if humanity could do that, and we could be like as a group more cohesive, then it would be good. Now, you don't need people to agree on everything. Like clearly, just it's like right now, humanity has a general direction. It's more, 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 just technology, right? The addiction to technology. That's the general direction. And it's not like people agree on everything. So you just need like a general direction that like people agree on. So for instance, if one direction could be minimalism, investing in the future, so paying things forward, improving the future, and then uh, and like wisdom, humility, you know, like things like that, like balance and change, like learning, learning how to balance things out. Basically, like kind of like wisdom, and then with wisdom comes the understanding of like how the universe works, and then of course you need the ethics. So you need the ethics, like the justice, to to like care about things, like to care about ethics, which hopefully we can care about ethics, because I think like uh so because like right now, we say we do, but it's not exactly like, it's definitely an exaggeration. And then you have like the aspects. So I talk about change, the balance. So you want to like balance the different people. And you don't want pure consensus. Like pure consensus isn't great either, because then you lack diversity, and diversity is more resilient, just like with nature. But like I said, you don't need everyone to believe in all the same stuff. You just need them to have a general direction. Like that's like the general goal. The general goal being like maybe this is like my personal general goal is to increase the longevity of biological life by doing like a Noah's Ark missions to outer space to like spread biological life, and all while maintaining like the wisdom, the humility, the minimalism to increase the longevity of biological life. Because yeah, like if you don't have the minimalism or the humility or the wisdom, then you're just going to burn through the energy, and energy is life. So yeah, if you just burn through that energy, you're going to destroy the longevity of life. And personally for me, I realized that quality is relative, but quantity, because you could just just appreciate life. It's just relative. And then but quantity, at that point it's better to just maximize that and have as much life as like possible over time. Not, you don't want like overpopulation, but like over time you want as much life as possible to just appreciate life, right? Like if you really appreciate life so much, then that's probably what you'd want. You'd be like, oh, I appreciate life so much, I don't need anything more. I just, the only wish I have is for as many life forms to enjoy life the same as me, right? And if like that's like yeah, so I think like a simple goal like that is um, it's basically strongly impacted by the generational problem. So like the generational problem is um, yeah, it just makes it a lot harder because not everyone realizes that like I guess I'd say like that like understanding, that idea, maybe that wisdom too. Like honestly, you have super rich people, they're like the richest people on the planet, and they're like less happy than like poor people. So like not all poor people, but like some people, poor people, right? It's all just about appreciation and the attitude. So I'd say like it's also I made a video on it. If you guys want to check it out, it's about like suffering related to Buddhism, and it's kind of related to appreciation. Basically, um, what I realized is change. The reason why we create change is because um, we have a dissatisfaction, and when we have a dissatisfaction, we're like, "Ooh, I don't like that. I want to change it." Now, when you have appreciation, if you have like complete and utter appreciation, you won't even want change. But then when something naturally goes wrong, you're like no longer fully satisfied. You're like dissatisfied to a certain extent, and then you're like, I want change. I want to change this. So it's like a good thing to it's a good, what do you call it, like mechanism to like want change. Like you do want to improve stuff, and that's like how you do it, usually through dissatisfaction. Like I think I realized, like personally, I don't think you can like create change if you're just like completely and utterly happy. um so it's kind of a shame because like a lot of time the people who want like the most change are kind of like, I don't know, like really yeah, like frustrated or like kind of sad, dissatisfied, like. But I guess you balance it out. It's just always about the balance. You learn to like balance it out with appreciation. I essentially I said it's like this. It's like if you only live with dissatisfaction, this way you could create the change, then you're basically gonna live in like a personal hell where there's like zero appreciation, and then you're just gonna like burn out because you're gonna like just go kind of like crazy, or you're going to completely um yeah, you're gonna like completely like burn yourself out, just like go hard to the pedal, and yeah, and so there's a lot of problems with that. So I think also the appreciation helps you. It definitely makes you like more caring and stuff, and it gives you energy a lot. Yeah, it gives you a lot of energy to yeah, to like um to keep going. So yeah, and yeah, and then so I'd say like going back to um, the generational problem, it's mostly just a problem of the mental universes, right, being separate, and they're not like enmeshed, or at least like enough, right? So that's mainly the problem, and the best way to solve that is through communication slash education slash communication is the same thing, kind of. It's just sharing of data, just sharing of data between people. So yeah, and so there's that. There's also the dimension, right? The dimensionality of it. So like the space and the time. So another problem is isolation. The more people are isolated, the more of a problem the generational problem will be, because everyone is going to not be interacting and sharing those mental universes. And the time aspect is also important because you want to maximize your time sharing those like understandings. This way you can come to a consensus, at least to a just enough, right? You just need to do it enough. If you get some more problems, you could do it a little more, but at least like to get a better general direction, because currently the general direction is like horrible. It's just like more and more and more and more and more. It's just leading to a ton of problems. And if all we had was just a slightly better, well, not as, yeah, if we just keep improving that general direction, like, then it'll be better. And hopefully eventually we get to a much better general direction. And and also the dimensionality aspect relates to how your lifetime in that space, right? So you have to figure out what you can do in your lifetime that's going to be like helpful for that general direction, for that goal. If you believe in some like bigger goal, kind of like what I was alluding to with like my personal goal. Yeah, I think it's also like usually the bigger goals are um, like if it's like beyond, it's like on multiple lifetimes. Those are like for um, it's more of like a selfless type of thing. So sometimes it's harder to get people to invest, to get people to care about it, especially with the suffering. So the suffering is the balance, right? So you balance the suffering with happiness. And so sometimes the problem is just that there's a lot of suffering and people try to balance it out with happiness, but they do it in like ways that are, um, you know, a little more selfish. Um, but usually the appreciation can solve that. If you learn to be really appreciative, then you can solve the suffering even with a very minimalistic, a very minimalistic lifestyle. So yeah, um, and then with that minimalistic lifestyle, you'll be more selfless because you won't be taking too much. You'll be taking just what you need to survive. So more of that equality to it. Um, but anyway, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say about the generational problem and how it kind of relates to some of the things I was talking about. Actually, one more thing I forgot to mention, the justice aspect. So I kind of talked about with the ethics. So there's the ethics aspect. There's also the requirements and consequences. So requirements and consequences is kind of the idea of like before and after um, of actions. So when you have a change, you have the before and the after. So when you're communicating, usually before you have less cohesion, and afterwards you have more cohesion of those mental universes. Basically, you're going towards more and more consensus and less diversity. Now you kind of want to go attraction or repulsion. Attraction or repulsion, those are the two forces of the universe, the two directions. You things can go either towards or away from each other, and you want to kind of balance the two. And if you can balance the two, then what you can achieve is basically a mixing, a balancing between consensus and diversity. So that's like pretty important if you want to maximize like resilience and capability, just like the way nature does it. So yeah. Anyway, so that's all I have for the video today, guys. If you liked it, I make a lot more videos just like this, so you can check them out. And I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.